Buenos días, Derek. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, ¿y tú?
Muy bien, gracias. Thank you so much for participating in our leadership series program, which is, as you know, it's been turning out great. A lot of executives doing video interviews and sharing their passion, their expertise, their knowledge about about their businesses and about leading. And so we do thank you for taking the time to do it. And why don't we start off, simply by just telling our audience who you are, what you do.
Sure. My name's Derek Rigaud. I am the owner of SnipIts Kids Hair Salon. It's a franchise, actually. I've got two locations, working on the third currently. Basically, all of them are here in Southern California in Los Angeles. And a little bit about myself. I'm 42 years old. I had to think about that for a second. 42, have a wife that we've been married for 7 years, and I've got a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Awesome. Well, they get free haircuts now, that's for sure.
They were my inspiration, absolutely.
They always, and they will be forever and ever. A little bit of aggravation, too, in the teenage years, but mostly inspiration.
I'm not looking forward to that. I just want to talk about it today.
Enjoy the time. Well, before we get into SnipIts and the business directly, and I know this could be a very long answer, but briefly, what is your definition or perspective of what leadership is?
Leadership is, in my mind, is just, influencing people to accomplish a common task. In this business here that I'm working on, it's a whole new dynamic. I mean, I've come from the corporate side of the world, if you will, for the last 14 years, and this is, that leadership is definitely different than this. This type of leadership is where you are the guy on top. You are making the last decision, and you are the one with the big picture and the goal. And so my job is really in this position as an entrepreneur and business owner is to really lead people into my vision, to what I see, how I see the business going, and what I want it to look like on a day-to-day basis, as well as 4, 5, 10 years down the road.
So you're the perfect interviewee. You answered the next question as well, almost, which is great. That's leadership for you. Well, how did you? Yeah, like you said, you come from the corporate America background, and now you're in an exciting entrepreneurial venture, and it's making a difference as well because of helping kids and their parents as a result. Why did you select SnipIts, and even equally as important, why did you select franchising?
Sure. So basically, the last 14 years I've been in digital ad sales. So I've worked with companies like AOL, Univision, Weather Channel, and I was basically getting to the point where I was, getting a little bored with it. The space in general, the digital ad space, has changed so much in the last few years with technology and to the space. So it really changed the landscape of the space, and it's become more difficult. Also, I was traveling probably about 30% of the time. So I really wanted to be home for my kids as much as possible, and that that distance with young kids is just hard to manage. So basically I looked into alternatives for the second half, I want to call it the second half of my career. And something that I could maybe look into, number one, controlling my destiny, but also have something to kind of set, my family up for the future and take care of the kids past my work time.
Sure.
So I started looking into different opportunities, and I've always, we live in Manhattan Beach in California here in Los Angeles, and we live in an area that's very, very highly populated with kids. And I've always, the 15 years that I've lived here, I always said, gosh, if somebody could create a concept that would really cater to kids and to families, they could really just knock it out of the park here. And prior to my corporate experience, I was in the service industry throughout school and so forth, bartending, waiting tables, and so forth. And so I know the service industry. I knew I didn't want to get into the restaurant industry. I knew that for sure. That's a tough one, and there's like 90% failure right there. So I was not going to test my my chances on that one. But basically, we were new parents, my wife and I, and my oldest one now was she was a year and a half at the time, and we decided to you know, take her in for a haircut because she just needed a haircut at that time. She was about 18 months old. There was no area around here, no business around here in Manhattan Beach to take her. So when we were in Boston for the holidays, we were there with my sister-in-law, and my sister-in-law said, "Why don't you just take her to where the boys go, to SnipIts?" And we were like, "Okay." So my wife actually took her, and I was like, "Good luck," because at 18 months old, she wouldn't sit in a chair for anybody, let alone try to get a haircut. But she came back. She had this adorable haircut, and I was like, "Where did you go? That's amazing that you not only got the haircut, but she was like, 'Oh my gosh, you got to see this place. It's incredible.'" So we went on the website. She showed me the picture of the salon, basically that's on the website, and that's how I got interested in it. Just basically looked at that and was said, okay, this is a pretty interesting business, definitely one that we don't have in the South Bay. Maybe I should look into this. So that's how I got introduced to SnipIts. I did my due diligence. I looked at other franchises across the country, and I couldn't find one that kind of, in my estimation, that compared to what SnipIts offers from a training standpoint, from, well, basically just the whole organization from top to bottom. They were really impressive. So I knew nothing about the hair industry at that time. So obviously this was going to be a leap of faith going into something that I had never, experienced before. But I do have a pretty good grasp of, kind of how to run a business, and being in that environment, for the last 14 years of corporate environment, I could, put things in place. If I had a playbook written for me, and the playbook that SnipIts, that they had was a really buttoned up, really well thought through. It's a franchise that's been around for 19 years, so they've got a proven existence and a proven track record of a lot of success. So that's your long-winded answer for.
No, it's a good story, and
Yeah.
it also tells the tale of why, to some degree, why to choose franchising versus doing it yourself. There's always the cost-benefit analysis of how long is it going to take to get going, and the knowledge. But one thing that hit me that I really attribute to leadership is you don't necessarily, for the most part, need to know every inch of the business to be able to lead a business to success, is what you're saying.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in this case, it was, there was no way I was going to learn the industry, before I opened the business. So I had to lean on, the franchise teaching me what I needed to know. I had to study the playbook, and then I had to put it into play. And it was something where you just have to really learn as you go. I asked lots of questions. I've been blessed to hire some really good hairstylists that have helped me understand and learn about the industry.
Mm-hmm.
But it really was that. It was really about learning how to, learning the technical side of the business. Now, the service side of the business, that to me is very natural. That's something that I know that, both on a smaller level, small business level, also a corporate level, really high level, that I've been in before. So that part I was very comfortable with. Service industry I'm very comfortable with, but the industry is something that every day I'm learning something new, and that's what's exciting about it as well.
Yeah, it's would you say that's the most difficult challenge you've had coming out of corporate America? Corporate America, and I've seen this a lot with everything from having senior people from the international CPA firms go to the local CPA firms and saying, I can do that, but then they get there and it's like all the stuff that they got taken care of for them wasn't taken care of in a smaller firm. There are some obvious differences, corporate American entrepreneurial, some positive, some tougher. What would have been the most difficult challenge? Was it learning the new business, or what was it?
Learning the new business was tough, but I'd say the hiring process and the training process has been definitely the most difficult. The hairstylists are not what I've been accustomed to, I'd say, in my career. Hairstylists are artists. They're artists first. They're not, you know, maybe, was it left or right brained? The way, maybe I'm, I guess, to the left and they're more to the right. They're very, very creative people. They're
Right.
artists. The business side of their experience is not as, I would say, developed as like my side of the creative side is not developed on for me. So they had to kind of learn in a little bit how we do things as a business, and then I had to learn how to communicate with them, how to get them to see the business side of haircutting, and that it's not just about cutting hair, it's about working within a system and being a part of a team, because a lot of the girls, they come from either maybe renting their own station where they're their own boss, they're their own small business, it's a one-person business, and they're responsible for everything. And so having to kind of deal with and have that challenge of working with someone in that capacity has been a very big challenge.
I compare a lot of things to, I compare business to sports all the time. And so I wonder, you got different types of people you're working with right now. How does an entrepreneur create that winning culture that a team has to create to win the championship? How do you do it?
That's a great question. I think you have to lead by example. I think that's the number one thing. I think you have to be present, and you have to show them what it's supposed to look like. With this business, I always tell the girls it's definitely about getting a great haircut, but almost as important is delivering a great service, something that they're not going to see anywhere else. And so that part of the business, I can definitely show them what it's supposed to look like. And I'm very present in my business. I'm there, pretty much every day.
Mm-hmm.
So they can see from me how I treat the customers and how I want to take care of the customers, how, we have to smile and greet them a certain way and thank them for their business and make sure that everything is right, that they're happy before they leave. No matter what it takes, we've got to make sure that they're 100% satisfied. And if not, we have to make it right somehow. So I think even though I'm not, understanding the technical side the way they do, and I never will, I'm trying to get there, but I probably won't get there ever. But they can see from a service standpoint how we like to do things.
Yeah, well, a good leader doesn't necessarily know everything. He or she knows how to listen, as well. And I don't think he invented this, but Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, said recently that America has it wrong. It's not the shareholder who's the number one priority. It's the customer, the employees, and then the shareholder gets theirs. And I don't think he invented that idea, but it's right.
It's true, absolutely true. It doesn't. You can have the greatest hair salon, you can have the greatest, the greatest business, period. But if no one's going into your store, no one's buying your products, right, you don't have a business. So it definitely starts with that customer, and from there, especially in this day of social media and everything as well, it's just most businesses succeed on your reputation. And if you're going to try to build that business, you need a good referral system in place, as well as making sure that you're on platforms to expand your brand.
Yeah, absolutely. Which leads me. You're doing great, allowing me to lead to my next question. I love this type of interview, but it leads me to something I talk to a lot of executives about, and that is social media, new media, digital media, all the media. The impact of it on leaders' actions, business owners' actions these days is huge. And the example I give is one executive told me, I used to be able to have meetings, everybody in my office, we'd work things out, and done. He says, now I have a meeting, and before the meeting's over, it's on Twitter, what we talked about. Wow. So how do you view the impact social media has on your business and business in general?
It's a catch-22 for sure. It's something that it's one of those things in this day and age that are absolutely critical to your business. And what I mean by that is, when you have platforms out there like Yelp and Facebook and Twitter, people now, it's not about taking care of one customer and that one customer telling, the next 5 people, their top 5 friends or their closest friends about your business, it's so much more than that now. It's potentially telling millions of people about your business, whether it's good or bad. So the premium now is making sure that each and every customer is 100% satisfied, because if you don't have, and the reality is in social media, when people are reviewing a business, they're more likely to review you in a negative way if you are doing something bad versus if you're doing something good. So it's so critical to to deliver a great service to every single person, because that negative review really has such a big impact on potential new business.
Yeah, I did a long time ago. The CEO of Burger King World Headquarters in Miami was letting go an executive secretary, and I've told the story a few times now. And I heard him say loudly, "We need to take care of her." And then I said, "What's going on?" And whoever I was with, and I remember, said something about them letting somebody go. And then he said, "We need to take care of her because when we let her go, she's going to tell people, and they all buy hamburgers."
Right.
It was brilliant, actually.
Yeah. So social media has changed the game. It's something that's super important now. It can really truly make or break a business.
No doubt. Let me ask you, question about board members. I don't know if you have a board set up yet or whatnot, but you know about boards. You've seen them. Board members are obviously valued leaders too. What's your sense, your perspective on how, as a CEO of a company, how a board should support you?
So we don't have a board per se right now. We do have a group of us, and it's really a family-owned business. So it's my father, his wife, and my wife that are basically the team, if you will, or board.
We got some pretty good experience there, by the way.
We do. We definitely do, and different assets. I think that everybody brings a certain asset to the game. My wife really helps out with a lot of things that I'm not connected with, like the retail side. She really understands being a mom. She really understands what kids are looking for, what their needs are there, what they like to buy, or basically what attracts them. I'm not as connected to that as she is. My father brings a wealth of experience, from he's an accountant. That definitely helps. Even though I minored in accounting, that part of the business, I can really lean on him to help me, manage that side of the business. And then from my side, on the sales and marketing side, that's my strength. That's in the customer service side. And then his wife, Susie, is just she's just my right hand. She's unbelievable. She's whatever we kind of need, she's there, whether it's training, whether it's, events, marketing, covering for me, whatever it is. I mean, she's kind of the go-to person, for me, my number two.
I think you rounded it out. It's like the Lion King, the circle of life. When you started out, you didn't know much about the business, but you knew about this. You've got a team that basically complements each other, and you don't have to know everything, but you certainly know how to get the right talent around you.
Exactly. And I think that, if you call it our board, that's what I think you need in any company. You need people that have different strengths and different experiences, and that can all help with that common goal. And that's what it comes down to. And you can't, I don't think there's really one person that can say, I'm going to lead this business and I'm going to make every decision for myself and be successful. I think you have to have people that you trust, that are close to you, that can contribute to, to what the goal is.
I hear that word every day with executives I talk to. Trust, key, the whole ball game. So here's some personal questions. Number one, do you have a pet?
No. We're not.
Okay. Do you have a favorite sport or activity you do?
Yeah, golf and baseball are my two loves, for sure.
Well, I know your dad just had a great golf outing, I heard.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite movie and or TV show?
Wow, a lot of great TV shows right now. I'd probably have to say Homeland is my favorite. I can't wait for the next season to start. That's going to be an interesting one, and that's been a great one. There's a lot of great, I think, shows out there. I think more so than than movies right now. My wife and I really don't go to the movies much anymore. But there's a lot of
Yeah,
great
there
shows
are.
out
You're
there.
right. Do you have a favorite type of music?
Yeah, I'm kind of I like a lot of different genres of music. I'd say classic rock is probably my favorite. Gosh,
That's a
it
good
really
favorite
goes
to have.
into a
That's okay.
plethora. Yeah, I do. I'm
Yeah, I
more of a
love
rock
it.
guy.
How about food? Favorite type of food?
Sushi,
Not so.
for sure. Yeah, sushi, and then probably after that we'd have to go to the Italian
Not
with
bad
pasta.
choices. Hey, listen,
Yeah.
it's an exciting thing that you're doing. We really appreciate the time for you to share your perspective, and best of luck. And I'm sure we'll be chatting soon.
Thanks for having me,
My
Mark. I
pleasure.
appreciate it.